So Israel has vowed now to end Hamas, and because of that, you're seeing this situation currently playing out in Gaza. The reality, however, is that your top leadership of Hamas, who orchestrated that attack on Israeli soil, are all out of Gaza. Either the location is not known or they sit in safe havens, protected, living in the lap of luxury while Gazans suffer. Here's a report that I filed earlier explaining where the Hamas leadership currently is. This is India Today's War Room, where we've created a conflict tracker with new pictures, new analytics and new graphics to explain to you how the Israel-Hamas war is unfolding. So let's take a look here at what we've lined up for you right now. Let's start with exactly who's supporting the Hamas group. Remember that this conflict, the war, started with Hamas entering into Israel, conducting massive strikes that led to 1,000 plus deaths. And despite that, this terror grouping has backing from a whole lot of countries. Notice a common thread here. Whether it's the Arab countries, you've got many of them backing Lebanon, Syria, you've got Qatar, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Islamic countries. All of them believe that the Hamas cause is true. So all of them at this point are backing Hamas. But there's also another aspect here. There's a reason Israel is constantly striking Gaza. They want to put an end to the Hamas terror group. So this is the leadership in Gaza. We've got some interesting details for you on that, on the location of these Gaza leaders. Some of these names have now become extremely popular. Ismail Haniyeh, for example, one of the top leaders of the Hamas groups. He's living a royal life in Qatar. Now, many of these Hamas leaders aren't in Gaza, and that's what you need to notice here. In all of these names, either their location is unknown or they live in the likes of Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Gaza, and several other parts where they live a comfortable life. And then they release videos like Abu Ubaidah did, where they threatened that they will go ahead and kill hostages ISIS style, and yet get this kind of brazen shielding from other countries where they live the good life. Let's also tell you that as they enjoy and don't face the repercussions of their actions, it's the people of Gaza who are suffering. Here are some pictures that we've lined up for you that show you the extent of damage in Gaza. This, for example, is how one of the biggest, most prominent mosques in Gaza looked. This is the Al-Amin Muhammad Mosque. Now, you can see the dome from atop. This is what it looks like now, after the destruction, after Israeli airstrikes. More pictures that show you how there's been destruction all around in Gaza, buildings brought down to dust, essentially. And all of this a result of what Hamas terrorists kicked off with that weekend carnage. They no longer live in Gaza. Most of them live comfortably in other countries, in safe havens, and yet it's the people of Gaza who are struggling now, as several of these terror hideouts, Israel believed that this mosque also was being used to, in fact, shield some of these terrorists, which is why they bombed it down and brought it to the ground. The countdown, unfortunately, is on right now for an all-out ground assault on Gaza. So the worst isn't over yet for Gazans. A ground assault appears imminent as the Israeli Defense Forces are mobilizing tanks and all the artillery they have near the Gaza border. The Israeli Defense Forces troops have also arrested 360 wanted Palestinians across the West Bank, including 210 who are affiliated with the Hamas terror group.
Devastated by Israeli bombardments, more than 1 million Gazans have fled their homes as an Israeli ground invasion looms. Airstrikes have been unchallenged. In the face of no credible anti-aircraft weapons or air defense systems at Hamas's disposal. Destruction in the besieged Gaza Strip unprecedented. (2,670) Palestinians have been killed and 9,600 wounded since the fighting erupted on October 7th. More than 1,400 Israelis have died, most of them civilians killed in the Hamas attack. Casualties may mount dramatically in the event of Israeli forces launching a ground incursion. Much of Hamas's military infrastructure believed to be concealed in urban areas. A street-by-street fighting can't be ruled out if Israeli military unleashes a full-fledged ground assault. Israel has ordered more than 1 million Palestinians, almost half the territory's population, to move to Gaza's south. Hamas has called upon Palestinian residents to stay put. In the past, Israeli forces invaded Gaza twice. The first time in 2009 for 15 days, and then in 2014 for 19 days. When Israeli ground forces advanced into Gaza's dense cities earlier, they've been effectively targeted with Hamas anti-tank mines, anti-tank guided missiles, rocket-propelled grenades. Hamas now equipped with a newer weapon, grenade-wielding drones it used in the October 7 attack, and possible stockpiles of anti-tank weaponry. International urban warfare experts also caution against Hamas's ancient tactic of using tunnel bombs. Blasting its way through the 40-kilometer Gaza Strip may sound easier than done. The Israeli military would be going up against a group that has trained for years in hardened urban combat, and possibly war-gamed such an invasion for years, despite Israel's own human intelligence and technology. With Gaurav Sawant and Ashutosh Mishra in Israel, Bureau Report, India Today.